Alrighty. Hello, hello, hello. All right, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, so hey everyone, welcome to the live. I want to start with something small, get kind of embarrassing, and maybe relatable. So this morning I'm brushing my teeth, right? And in the middle of brushing my teeth, I realized I was just looking at myself, looking at my toothbrush, looking at myself, looking at the toothbrush. I realized I said to myself last week I would change this toothbrush, and I didn't. Not only did I not change it, but I actually completely forgot that I said I would. Honestly, I was brushing with a toothbrush that's older than my last attempt at a New Year's resolution. Of course, it's not that old, but you get the point, right? And it got me thinking, how many other things have I said I would do and I didn't do? Maybe those are small things, big things, personal habits, work stuff, all of those things, but they all adds up. And that's exactly why tonight I want to talk about this concept that's been on my mind and in my heart lately a lot. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if we want different results in life, we have to take different actions. It's as simple and as complicated as that. All right. So, but here's the thing, it's very easy to complain. We say things like, I wish I was healthier. I wish I was making more money. I wish it was easier to get a client. I wish I had more discipline. But wishing does nothing, just like complaining does nothing. And I'm not saying that we do not need to express our frustrations, because sometimes that is exactly what we need to just let it out and to move on to taking actions to solve the problems, right? But ideally, change requires action. There's no going around it. And sometimes the action starts with something as small as, in my case, changing my toothbrush. It's not really about the toothbrush, to be honest. It's about noticing all the little things we put off, the promises we make to ourselves that we don't keep. Those little things become habits, and habits shape our lives. And to be honest, if we're thinking about things on a micro perspective, we're going to realize that every single thing that we put off are things that we actually need to get from point A to point B. So when we don't do them, that means we're not growing. That means we're not getting to that place that we really need to be to progress in our lives, right? And we may feel like, oh, I'm just lazy. And sometimes it's laziness, but honestly, sometimes it's just a spirit of procrastination. And that spirit is very educated as PhD level intelligence to hold us down. So we have to be very vigilant to know that even if sometimes we fail, but we're cognizant and paying attention to our habits and understanding that we're going to be more proactive in making sure that we do what we say we're going to do. All right. So, why do we even put things off in the first place? Sometimes it's fear of failure, fear of starting, fear that it won't be the perfect moment, perfect opportunity, perfect this, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe it's laziness. Like I said, plain and simple. But sometimes we are waiting for motivation to magically appear. And I don't mean to burst your bubble, but motivation rarely shows up. Just between me and you right now, I did not feel motivated to do this video. At a long day of work, I really wanted to just go lay down and just forget about it all. But I said to myself I was going to go to live tonight, so I had to go live tonight. We're not trying to be hypocrites here. All right. So you have to act first, and the motivation will come afterwards. That's just how it goes. So here's a little exercise that I want you guys to do right now. Think of one small task you've been putting off, and it don't have to be 5 things. I said one simple thing. Just do one thing. Sometimes we feel like we have to get up and just do everything at once, and oftentimes, because we're doing too much things in the same time, it takes away our momentum because we're not focusing and we're not seeing results because we're all over the place. So some just do one thing. Maybe that's cleaning your desk, sending an email, changing your trash can, whatever it is for you. Just pick one thing. You can either comment it in the chat right now, or keep it to yourself. Write it down on a note, whatever. It's up to you. Um, but I want you to commit to finishing that before the end of this live. I want you to commit to finish it before the end of this live, and I'm not gonna be long, so you might want to get to it right now. All right, because small actions equal big shift. You don't have to go into the extravagant things and feel like because you take a massive step that you're making progress. It means nothing if you're going to just take this massive step and then you're not going to commit to continuous growth, right? And if you're like me, sometimes you need a little tough love. Like, hey, if you don't change that toothbrush, at least your dentist will remind you the hard way. And if you know anything about me, shout out to all the dentists out there, but it's not my favorite place. At least it wasn't. But now, we're good. But let's be real. Waiting for the perfect time is a trap. Waiting for the perfect mood is a trap. Waiting for somebody else to come and change your life is a trap. Real change comes from consistent action, not perfect action, not massive action, consistent small steps. And it's not to say that if you take massive action, it won't change. But as I said earlier, if you're just going to do one massive action and never revisit anything, never try to show up and do anything else, it's probably not going to give you the output and the results that you truly want. So it's better to take consistent small steps than one massive step and never revisit it. All right. And just to keep on the same toothbrush example, since I'm talking about it anyway, brushing your teeth every day keeps them healthy, right? Skipping once or twice is not going to do much damage. But if you never brush your teeth, it's going to lead to problems. And life works the same way. Tiny actions done consistently compounds into huge results, right? And complaining about things not changing is like sitting in a pool of chocolate wishing you're going to lose weight. Sweet, but definitely not effective. All right, so I want you guys to get real with yourselves first of all, because at the end of the day, even though I'm here to pour into you guys, I cannot do the work for you and you cannot do the work for me. So when we sit with ourselves and really assess how we're showing up in the best as the best version of ourselves, we have to be honest with ourselves to be able to do that. So decide on one thing that you've been putting off. This is a judgment-free space. If you want to drop it in the chat, go ahead and do so. But as I said, you can keep it to yourself if you don't feel like you want to change, if you don't feel like you want to share it. But whatever the task is, whether it's something big or something small, I'm challenging you to take the first step right now, even if it's a tiny thing, because nothing changes if nothing changes. And don't forget, sometimes you have to laugh at yourself a little while you take the action. Otherwise, life gets way too serious and procrastination gets way too comfortable. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up. As I said, I was not planning on being long tonight, but here are the main takeaways that I wanted you to get from this video. Complaining doesn't change anything. Wishing doesn't change anything. The only thing that creates change and that changes things are actions. So start small, start today. Don't wait for motivation and hold yourself accountable, right? Because we got us. We are the only ones that are going to make sure that we get everything done that we say we're going to get done, all right? And sometimes a little tough love from yourself is exactly what you need to do that. So if this resonates with you, hit the like button, share this live, and comment your small win. Once you take that action, I love to celebrate with you. And remember, nothing changes if you don't change. So start small, start now, keep moving forward. You've got this. And I will see you in the next one.